lives in the sunlit world of what he believes to be reality. But there is, unseen by most, an underworld, a place that is just as real, but not as brightly lit. A dark side.
Some shit don't need, you know what I'm saying, an intro, you know, like how I usually give it up. Sometimes motherfuckers just need to just be exposed. So go on this journey with me. Who got the dope in? Now you gotta remember, the people who gave us the analogy of who they assumed did it were the ones indulging in the drugs, whether it's using them or selling them, killing each other, self-destructive, etc., etc. The reason I'm talking about this and changing up the scenario of what people have been talking about for the last few days is because it's bigger than that. You know, if I'm telling you knowledge about, you know, people under a spell and stuff like that, okay, that's fine, that's cool. But it's not fair to push that. See, Fat Joe would have never been able to do what he did if these niggas weren't already fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that Black American Aboriginals are fucked up people. No, if they weren't already hit. Always remember, we have a enemy in this game. It's not a mortal enemy. It's not even really an enemy because they're really easy to beat. But once you're in a spell, it's a little difficult because you have all this illusion in front of you. So it's not right for me to talk about Hispanic people who are coming to the Rock. They're not from here. And that goes for all of them, Guatemalans, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, etc., etc., because the American Indians are not Hispanic. So Hispanic people need to stop doing that. You cannot be the same people that these conquerors killed off or came and killed and warred with. You cannot be our friend. You cannot claim to be a conquistador and an Indian. It does not work like that. You have to pick a side. Just like you cannot claim to be half Spanish and half Moreno. It does not work like that. You have to pick a side. Or you can say you're the original, you know, holders of this language, but you're going to be a Moreno. You're going to turn into a Moor. So you can't have it both ways. Same thing goes with the followers of the Democrats, because that's where I'm leading this to. The people that were getting dope put in their neighborhoods and having people sell them dope in their neighborhoods that weren't fond of them, because see, that's where the discussion comes in. Most of us always try to blame Reagan because that's what our elders told us. Reaganomics, Reagan this, Reagan that. But that's not historically what happened. President Jimmy Carter and the Panamanian chief of government, Omar Torres, signed the Panama Canal Treaty and Neutrality Treaty on September 7th, 1977. This agreement relinquished American control over the canal by the year 2000 and guarantees its neutrality. So we relinquished American control by the year 2000. Okay, that's interesting because by 77, after 77, here comes Reagan for a quick minute. Reagan wasn't even in there the full term. I think Reagan only did 4 years because here comes George Bush Jr. in the end. Or maybe Reagan did do 2 terms. Maybe he did. Maybe. My argument is this. Reagan being a Democrat and then going to the Republican Party, can he say he knew what Republicans were rhinos? No, he just got over there. Can he say he knows what the Democrats are going to do because he's leaving? No, he can't. Jimmy Carter is the reason we had gas lines, where America was so broke on oil that we literally had days that people could pump their gas. So we're broke. We need money. Why did he do that in 77? What happens in the 80s? For everybody who's, slow in the back, what happens in the 80s? Scarface. This is like 1983. So now that the Panama Canal is not being controlled by the U.S., soon as we relinquish power to them, now all of a sudden here comes all this dope. Here comes all this cocaine and marijuana. Yeah, they talk about weed in the 70s, but all the cocaine hit in the 80s. That's when big cocaine thing happened. Okay, so everybody's talking about Reaganomics. Nobody's talking about Jimmy Carter and what he did with the Panama Canal. Anybody who doesn't know that the Panama Canal is the road to success when it comes to drugs, you're just a damn fool. That's the strip. That's the strip they've been on, is the Panama Canal. Everybody should know that. If you're old enough to know about the cocaine wars and all that different stuff, you should know that's how they got all this stuff in through the Panama Canal. So why did Jimmy Carter in 77 give that to the Panamanians? And then out of nowhere in the 80s, here comes all this dope. Here comes all this coke. Everybody's blaming it on Reagan. So I'll let it go two ways, even though it doesn't make any sense. Are you trying to say that the Democrats sent Reagan over there to infiltrate the Republicans so they could do it both ways? That's impossible. He wouldn't have had an assassination attempt. See, I'm going to put all this shit together for you. When Carter gave the canal to those people, that's when the drugs started flowing in. Okay, who's big on crime and trying to slow it down? Ronald Reagan. Could that be a revenge tip from the Democrats? Yeah, because like he said, I didn't leave the Democrats left me. Okay, cool. Makes sense. So the revenge for Reagan's presidency will be flood him with dope. We all know that California has been Democratic for the longest. It had a quick little Republican hold for a little bit, quick second. It's always been Democrats. So we make his image look tainted, like he's responsible for all these drugs, but he has all these cops. He's doing all these arrests. He's breaking down all these drug dealers and gangbangers stuff. So that's not helping, right? So then the assassination attempt takes place, which would have got Bush Jr. in, or Sr., sorry, which would have been the New World Order. And he did get in for a quick second. Always find it interesting that this treaty lasts all the way till 2000. Okay, that's funny because that's the end of Bill Clinton. Who wins the presidency in 2000, ironically? Another Bush. Are the breadcrumbs starting to fit? I'm wondering, do you guys see the play? Because people will be like, oh, no, they're Republicans. That doesn't mean anything. The Bushes are the only Republicans that showed up to John Lewis' funeral. They're the only ones that were there. Nancy Pelosi was there. Barack Obama was there. Bill Clinton was there. Both of the Bushes were there. No other Republicans showed up. Why? Because the Bushes have never been Republicans. They have always been Democrats. They're what you call conservative Democrats. Conservative Democrats come from the South. Aren't both of the Bushes from Texas? Guess who else was conservative Democrats? The Klan. Conservatives are all about home, tradition. Okay, wasn't the Klanmen about that? It was white only, white power, white pride. Makes sense, right? Real conservative, right? But with Democratic policies. So now you understand what a conservative Democrat is. The Asian lady that's wilding out at the Kamala Harris campaign for the donated money that she didn't see any return on. She's a conservative Democrat. Doesn't mean that, she's racist. I'm just showing you that they still exist. So who brought the dope in? Honestly. Because Oliver North was put on trial, not Ronald Reagan. So who brought the dope in? Is it Reagan? Or is it the deal that Jimmy Carter signed off on in 77 that ended up opening the floodgates for the dope to come in all through the 80s? It's only 3 years to 1980, guys. Cocaine's all right in the 70s, but you don't hear about a big pop of coke till the 80s. Why? Because 70s and 60s for the weed heads, remember? On pot smokers. The hippies for the 60s, and then everybody else in the 70s. That's when there's big weed smoking. Why is the cocaine drug dealers not hit big until the 80s? Why is there so much coke in the 80s? Why do people talk about the 80s is about coke? It was just everywhere. Everybody was doing it. It was just a thing to do. Why is that? I told you he signed off on the Panama Treaty in 77. So who is pushing this coke in? Like, can you just literally blame the cartels, or do you have to blame some of the Americans who were involved in this? All right, cool. Which ones? Which Americans were involved in this shit, and why do they play off Jimmy Carter as such a good guy when really he wasn't? Jimmy Carter is the reason that the dope came in. Jimmy Carter is the real reason that crack was invented. Look at the deal. Look at what happened. President Jimmy Carter and the Panamanian Chief of Government Omar Torres signed the Panama Canal Treaty and the Neutrality Treaty in September 7th, 1977. This agreement relinquished American control over the canal by the year 2000 and guarantees neutrality. Now, I can hear people. They're going to say something like, oh, well, how can you say that Jimmy is responsible if, they relinquished control by 2000? Because let me ask you a question. What happens from 77 to 2000? Follow the breadcrumbs, guys. You have one fly in the ointment, and that's Ronald Reagan. He's the only fly in the ointment. Why? Because Carter signed off on it in 77. So from 77 to 2000, we have enough time to push as much as whatever we want through this canal because we have control over it. So having a handshake with the Panama chief, what do you think they shook hands on? Who had the most dope? The fucking ports. From California to New York to the ports in the South. Bro, who had all the dope? It was big in Miami. It's big in New York. It's big in California. Why? How do you make crack? How can all these rappers talk about crack without coke? They had to have cocaine. Okay, where was the biggest spots for crack? All the ghettos. Okay, so from Oakland, big dope. LA, big dope. New York, big dope. Miami, big dope. Like, where else you want to go? Boston, fucking Alabama, Little Rock. We can go wherever you want. Wherever the crack is at, that's where the coke is at. Okay, it's coming from the ports. This is the argument from people in the ghetto. We don't own no planes, no trains. You really didn't have to, because it didn't have anything to do with you bringing it in. It had to do with the people you're voting for bringing it in. That's why it was mainly all Democrat cities that were ravished with dope. All of these Democratic cities still to this day have the most base heads, people begging for change, loserville shit. We be talking about these country hicks. You don't see no homeless people around. That's the weirdest thing. Drive through some of them backwood fucking towns and shit. You don't see no homeless people sitting around though. That's weird. That's weird. I thought they ain't got no money like that. Well, for some reason they take care of their own. Ain't nobody out here just begging for coins and shit. That's some old liberal Democrat shit. Wherever you see Democrats at, you're going to find homeless people begging. I guarantee it. So, 77, they do this little treaty, right? Then in the 80s, here comes all this coke. Then by 85, 86, here comes all this crack. Put in selective areas, because people will tell you. You can even watch Boys in the Hood, like Furious Styles said. He said nobody was talking about crack until that shit ended up all the way in Wyoming somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Where there ain't no black people and it's just white people. That's when it became a problem. But who's in all these cities? Black people. Who votes for these Democrat politicians? Black people. So what I'm saying is, the president, Jimmy Carter, signed off, Democrat. He's the one who signed off on this treaty. Out of nowhere, 3 years later, here comes all this fucking coke. Here comes all this coke, which turns into crack. All of this shit is busted down right after he signs this deal. We're not going to talk about heroin, because honestly, heroin you're not really getting from south of the border. You're really getting that from China. That China white heroin. And the real reason is because of the old China trade. You know what I'm saying? All of our universities, all of our Ivy Leagues, the building of them was funded by heroin. It's a fact. Franklin D. Roosevelt. Look it up. So, we're not talking about heroin. We're talking about this coke thing. Rush to the yayo. Listen to all these rappers. There was so much crack. All the dope dealers, man, big dookie chains. Like, how they getting all this money? How they got all this money? I mean, big dookie ropes, bro. That shit was not cheap at all. You know what I'm saying? How are they doing this? Big ass anchors and shit. You see pictures of Jay-Z with the big ass anchor chain on. This is the real anchor damn near. All these big ass chains, bro. Big ass chains. Like, we look at like rappers today, and you be thinking, they ain't got shit on the 80s. Nothing on them. They just got platinum. You know what I'm saying? They had gold, they had platinum, but they ain't got shit on them 80s chains. Them chains, the medallions, I'm sorry. Y'all don't have nothing on them 80s cats. But why? Look at all this dope that's coming in. Even though it's destroying you guys in the long run, you're not seeing it because you're worried about a few niggas looking shiny and presentable in front of you, even though they suck. It's because they're killing themselves. But who brought the dope in? When you look back at the records, you can't have it both ways. You can't say Ronald Reagan's bringing in the dope, but then at the same time locking everybody up. And they're like, nah, that's how you make money. No, that's not. That's how you fucking sound stupid, because you can't be righteous and negative at the same time. It doesn't work that way. Trust me, it doesn't. You can try it all you want. One's going to win. One God's going to beat the other. So Ronald Reagan does this, big old patriot thing, all for America. Kind of like what Trump's trying to do, right? So he goes down as a good president. But he has assassination attempts. See, y'all be forgetting that. Everybody keeps talking about how dirty Reagan was, but they try to clip him. Ain't nobody try to clip Bush Sr. Ain't nobody try to clip Bush Jr. They threw a shoe at him. Here's another funny thing before I continue. The only attempts on Barack Obama and Bill Clinton were from outside the White House. They're in the White House. It's some agitator outside, not even close to these motherfuckers. Those are the only assassination attempts they had. It's funny, because I told you they all work with each other. At least from Carter past Reagan, to the Bushes, to Clinton, to the Obamas. All of them are working with each other. It's the same play. It kind of is. It's very similar to today. But we're not talking about today. We're talking about who brought the dope in. Always remember, Oliver North got locked up. So you can't look at it like it's Reagan. No, we got our culprit. It's a military thing. It's the Nicaragua, the whole Contra shit. So these military people doing it. You can say, oh, they got the word from the president. That's not true. Not about no dope. They got word from the president to do what they was doing down there, not to bring back drugs. That shit was done for different pretenses. And I'm saying it was done way before any Republican even became the president, bro. This shit was signed off with Jimmy Carter. Supposed good, great president, even though y'all was in gas lines. Like, everything I hear about this dude is weak. We lost Vietnam because of him. It's like, bro, I don't hear nothing good about this dude. I don't. The Democrats big him up. They always try to say he's a good president, but really he's not. He's like one of the weakest presidents we ever had. And why, after this deal in 77, here come the 80s and all this dope comes in. Anybody who know about cocaine, we all know about the Panama Canal, bro. Ain't nobody stupid. Even Scarface tells you about that. He's like, bro, it's not a duck walk anymore. He's like, yo, they got scanners, they got Frogman, they got the WBC2s with the fucking lights and shit. He's like, bro, it's not a duck walk no more. What is he talking about? He talking about, yo, we still gotta go to Panama with that shit. So how are they gonna get it through Miami? How did they get it to Miami? Through Panama, bro. That's how all the dope got in. So what's this treaty deal that they did? And why did a Democrat do it? And then why was all the dope in these Democrat cities? Come on, bro. All black people are in Democrat cities. Knock it off. We all know this. Even if the state is Republican, the city is Democrat. That's where they all at. And that's where all the drugs is at. And that's where all the bums is at. And that's where all the beggars is at. All this shit just happened, yo, in the 80s, yo. We didn't have a bunch of like homeless people like that. Excuse me, and dope fiends and crackhead weirdos. Because remember, the nut houses closed in the 80s too. All this shit happens in the 80s. Now, for that, you can blame Reagan. I don't know why the fuck they did that dumb shit. I really don't. And that's why a lot of us argue about bringing the insane asylums back. Like, just stop hiring people that want to rape the women and abuse the fucking people. It's like, yo, just like, we need evaluation checks. But other than that, hell yeah, give them loopy pills. Hell yeah, put that motherfucker in that straight jacket, that padded room for a little bit. Yep, sitting in there for an hour. You ready? You chill? All right, now go eat your fucking what's that shit, Jello, and sit there and watch the fucking TV. Like, yo, facts. Some of these people should not be outside. The whole the train situation where old boy got choked out, that shit should have never happened. You should have been one of special need homes. Shouldn't be outside dealing with the public. You're a weirdo. I got talent. Then go into a booth and record a song, motherfucker. Or turn on the camera and go on TikTok. Nigga, don't be bothering, harassing people on the train. Them days is dead. That old New York outside live performance shit, nobody gives a fuck about that shit, bro. There's too much internet nowadays. Go take your ass on the internet. Go do like normal people. Unless you are a normal person. You just pull out your hat, your guitar, you sit there and you just play your music. You ain't bothering nobody. You ain't yelling. Okay, that's different. You know what I'm saying? But you know, you harassing people. Nah, you nut house weirdo. Oh, I dance for you. Give me some money. Nigga, I didn't ask you to dance for me. I didn't ask you to do shit. Get your weird ass out of here. You know what? I'm talking too much because you got 3 seconds. And 2's already missing. So, like, you about to get your teeth loose. Who brought the dope in? Was it Ronald Reagan? I can't say that because Ronald Reagan left the Democrats, and it's a Democrat who signed off on this fucking treaty. And like I said, it lasted all the way to 2000. Who gets elected in 2000? George Bush Jr. I was like, well, where's the connection in that? What the fuck do you mean? Where's the connection in that? His dad is New World Order. At the same time, he's he creates that whole eagle thing to where you can't even question the president on anything, and that's why like they had to let go of them cases on J6 with Trump because they're like, bro, technically you can't say he's involved. You can't. Like, you're not allowed to do that. And it's because of George Bush Sr. Because all the dirt he was doing. He's the one who did Desert Storm, bro. This is the first start of that oil shit. Then the Bush has been into the oil trade for years. He's the VP of Reagan, bro. They assassinated, attempted Reagan. He didn't die. But if he did die, who'd have been the president? New World Order. So I'm already seeing the connection. I'm telling people straight up. I don't believe that, the Bushes are fucking like right-wing Republicans. I don't think they ever was. I think these is like Dixiecrats who infiltrated in. And they was always working with the Democrats because at the end of the day, they're the only two who showed up to John Walsh's funeral, bro. That don't make no sense, bro. If these revolutionary not revolutionary, if these civil rights people was so like in sync and people was really feeling them, then why wasn't the Republicans over there, bro? Even Clarence Thomas was a civil rights activist. We have the proof. We have the pictures of him. He used to be with them. So everybody's dipping off from this group. You know what I'm saying? They can't say much. They can't tell the American people. Of course, they want people in chaos. And then, there's hitters out there. There's assassinators, all types of shit. So motherfuckers just leave. All right. So you put all these scoops together with the Bushes, the Clintons, or Bill Clinton. You know what I'm saying? The whole Epstein shit, what he was doing. That's why I call I call Bill Clinton the bitch. I call him the bitch. Like, between the Bushes, he's the pussy in the middle. He's the monkey. He's the one that they threw in there because he's the old McDonald hamburger eating, NBA Jam, basketball secret player. Everybody just thinks he's so cool. He plays the saxophone on Arsenio Hall. Oh, he smoked weed. I did inhale. Everybody, he's just so cool. Meanwhile, he raping motherfucking females on the low. Had to pay one off. Y'all just got the intern story. No, there's another female that he had to pay off. He raped her, bro. Like, straight up, he had to pay her off. I think she got like 500,000, some big ass number. I don't know. But I forgot her name. It's a white woman. Nobody ever talks about this shit. They just play it to the side. Nobody ever talks about this shit. So, to me, he's like the monkey they put in the middle just so they could keep doing what they was doing until 2000. Then they get all the way to 2000. Okay, this treaty's done. Okay, maybe that means the dope game's done. And it kind of was. Because after 2000, wait a minute, before 9/11, all that shit, after 2000, the game was switching. People were doing ecstasy. Ecstasy turns into perks. Perks turns into Xannies. All these different pills. People started taking M&M with them Vicodins. This is 1998. This is going into 2000. Switching the narrative up. Switching the drug up. Ecstasy. I feel so ziggity. Fucking Bone Thugs and Harmony was talking about. Everybody was talking about. Fizz Face. All the way in the West Coast. Everybody's peeled out now all of a sudden. Getting to this millennium. So then once we hop in this millennium, this 9/11 shit happened. We already know the scoop from there. New game. People say gold, oil, and drugs. God, right? Okay. Well, the gold had been seized. So it went from the O to the D first. They was doing the drugs. But I can hear people already, no, they've been on oil. But no. Oil was running short in the 70s, though, the gas lines. So it's like, do you see the transition? Do you see where I'm talking about foreign affairs and going over and taking people oil and shit early? Do you see it? Do you see it starting from this Panama Treaty? Then they can go into Nicaragua and do that shit all through the 80s. That's when that shit happened, through the 80s. Why did he just sign this treaty in 77? Okay, then all this coke comes in. All right, we're still dealing with oil shortage. So we tried to assassinate Reagan. Didn't work, but that's cool because we got enough push to put George Bush Sr. in. What he do? Desert Storm, oil runners. See? Then we play that off. Because now we in foreign countries. We taking shit. We taking resources. Okay. So we put the bitch in. Bill Clinton. What's he around? Kitty stuff. Touching children. And y'all like, well, how's that coincide? Nigga, you already bum rushed and killed all the men. You've killed all the army. You're taking their oil. You're taking their resources. What else are you taking? So you got to think. I'm not saying you should be doing it. I'm saying I'm not stupid. So you wonder why the Muslim motherfuckers don't like us very much. Could be because of oil. Could be because of the murder. Could be because that shit happened all through Vietnam. Ain't nobody gonna tell that lie. There's still those kids there to this day. I forgot what their name is, bro. But there's like 2,700 of them. Just abandoned children that American soldiers just had sex with these women and just did. Cold-blooded. Couldn't even pull out. Couldn't even just nut on the floor. Like, nigga, for real. Well, who's the reason we were in all those wars? They're hiding behind Republicans, but really it was the Democrats the whole time. Because the Bushes are Dixiecrats. Always was. How the fuck is the original Republican coming from the Democrats? Ronald Reagan talking about peace through strength. Talking about don't start nothing, won't be nothing. We all want to go to war with you, but don't start nothing, won't be nothing. To New World Order. A global economy. Well, in order to be global, you got to be going to other people's territory. See, you acting like you they friend, but you're not. Oh, that's not true. The UN gets along. Who banged on the UN and ended up getting killed? Saddam. Saddam's the one who came in there and said, I don't give a damn about your God and your law. Nigga, I'm Muslim. This is what we Sharia law. I don't even fuck with your shit. Like, got knocked. See, when you're older, you can look at the story for what it truthfully is. What happened after Saddam got killed? What happened after Gaddafi got killed? All those places got taken over by terrorists. So the people that were ruling those people, you called terrorists, but once they got killed, those places got took over by actual terrorists. Ain't that a bitch? This is all Bush's shit. But wait, it's worse. Didn't fucking Bush veer on the Afghanistan tip, and then who made it worse? Obama, third cousin. Keeping the mission going. Who did the most deportations? Who built the cages? Who was separating families the worst first? This is all Bush shit. This is all Clinton shit. Get the fuck out of here talking about this border problem and shit, bro. Knock it off. Knock it off. We used to stop these fucking Haitians at the gate. They were there, and Cubans couldn't even get in. Still to this day, they actually like that. I hate that. But I'm saying, once you put it all together, and that's why I said it's kind of similar to the times we're in right now. Everybody hate Trump, but on the real tip, Trump is kind of like Reagan, dog. He's like the fly in the ointment, dog. He's the monkey in the wrench. He really is. Because if they'd have kept this shit going with the Kamala tip, oh man, America would have been bankrupt. America would have been illegal immigrant, flooded, and bankrupt at the same time. People don't respect your morals. Remember, they just want to make money. They'll even make it under the table. They don't even pay your tax. So you damn sure know they ain't reading your Constitution. You damn sure know they don't care about your leaders, your mores, you know what I'm saying? Because people keep saying America don't have culture. You got your fucking mind. You got to wipe your feet off before you walk into an American house. You do. You know what I'm saying? Americans say good morning, good evening. What you talking about? Like, Americans open the door for the females. What are you talking about? Where did I learn it from, motherfucker? Space? I needed some third world country person to come all the way over here to tell me to open the door for the ladies? No. So what do you mean we don't have morals? We use napkins, motherfucker. We use utensils. Like, what? America has no culture. You're a fucking retard. They got people in the East still to this day that don't eat with utensils. These motherfuckers literally go to the table and grab everything with their hands. And you don't see any napkins around. They're very weird. To me, the American, the utensil user. That's culture. But what I'm saying is there's a big problem with how long the deception has been going on, and people have been, arguing with each other and going in circles and not realizing, no, it's this one fucking group. We can pinpoint all this stuff. It's on record. Like, you can see these guys a mile away. It's all Democrats. It is, bro. And people are like, nah, it's not true. There's Republicans. Bro, Bushes. Think about your lifespan, the one that you're in. Not way before all yours. No, just yours. But go a little further back. Go to like your older siblings, like your teenage siblings. Go to like 77. And just look at this deal that took place. And then 3 years later, the whole fucking country is flooded in dope. It's flooded in coke. It's flooded in cocaine. Now you have Cheech and Chong movies. You got fucking drug dealers everywhere. Everybody's making money, you know what I'm saying, off this cocaine. I mean, big weight. See, 70s guys, they had cocaine. I know about Superfly. I know about one key to get out the game. Damn, nigga, you can get out the game off one key. Nigga, the game must be Sheldon in the motherfucker, nigga. Like, I'm talking about that original talk when niggas say it used to be, two dealers and 10 fiends. Nowadays, it's 10 dealers and 2 fiends. You know what I'm saying? And they were saying that in the 90s. Niggas, the old heads were telling me that shit in the 90s. So it's like, imagine how much money them niggas was making back in the 80s. Yeah, you look at the times. But no, look at their times, bro. If it's 89 cents for a fucking Big Mac in this motherfucker, bro, and you got $100,000, bro, like them paid in full kids. They was kids. They like 17, 18 years old, bro, coming through in custom fucking Beamers and shit, Lexus, Mercedes, Gucci, everything. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, are you serious? That was a lot of money. But what I'm saying is the end result we see. Bunch of dope fiends, crazy people. Like, it didn't benefit anybody. It didn't. Who brought the dope in? Frank Lucas, man, shut up. And first of all, Frank Lucas was dealing heroin. He wasn't dealing coke. See, that's where y'all fucking up from. Y'all talking about somebody who was in Vietnam. He was in Vietnam. He bringing in dope from the East. He bringing in Asian dope. Okay, cool. We're not talking about dope. We're talking about coke. And this damn treaty that took place 3 years before cocaine popped off all through the 80s. Everybody knows the 80s is cocaine. Everybody knows this. We're not going to play brand new. I'm saying I don't think Reagan really had anything to do with it, and I think that was a Democratic ploy that they put off on him. And they even tried to kill the dude. And it's fucked up because he was one of them. He was one of them to the T. He was an actor, and he was a Democrat. And they did him foul. They tried to kill the dude. Kind of reminds me of Donald Trump. Donald Trump is not a good actor. I'm not saying that, but he has played in like 2-3 cameos. You know what I'm saying? He's been in a few, Hollywood pictures. And they try to kill his ass. It's odd. But yeah, just ask yourself a real question, man. Who brought in the dope? Who got the dope in? I don't think it was Reagan. I don't think it was Reagan if this contraband shit already started. It's already started in 77. off this treaty. They had already set this shit up. Now, don't believe me. Do your Reaganomics. Keep saying shit that you've been saying and it don't make any sense. And, deal with that. Or drive down the block a little more. You're only going down 3 years, man. You just drive, because I think Reagan doesn't become president until like 82. So it's like, damn, actually, yeah, I don't think Reagan becomes president until like 82 P. So it's like, first of all, Reagan, in truth, it's possible, yeah. It's possible that it was Jimmy. It was Jimmy who did this shit. It really was. Because he had already had like 2 years in the 80s. And like I said, Scarface don't come out till like 83, 84. It's like the shit's kind of perfect. Y'all let me know, man. I'm gone. Go.